Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Boxing Day. It is Boxing Day, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's Boxing Day. I hope you ate lots of turkey, and I hope that the new episode of Doctor Who was as good as I expect it to be on Christmas Day. I don't know, because it's happening in my future. I'm filming this now. This is going up on Boxing Day. Merry Christmas from Magic TV. Hope you're having a good one. And if you didn't watch the lecture that went out yesterday on Christmas Day, please watch it. There's some really cool magic in there. And we're going to do another lecture now. We're going to do another session now. I think it's going to be about an hour. And the reason for yesterday's and today's video was just to say thank you. Thank you to every single person that's ever watched Magic TV. Thank you to any single person that's ever subscribed or ever bought any of my products. I really appreciate it. I genuinely, you know, some people don't like me, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I was speaking to people on Reddit the other day, and you know, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm a bit like Marmite, apparently. You might love me, you might hate me, and that's fine. But one thing that you need to understand is I love magic. I absolutely love magic. I love this community, and I really want to try and give back. And I want to showcase a couple of routines in this kind of lecturette, this mini lecture, that I think you guys will really love. Very, very commercial material. Some of it's never been published before. And the first trick I'm going to go through with you has never been published before. This is a routine. I've had various versions of it over the years. The initial inspiration for this, by the way, presentationally, was Gary Kurtz. Now, Gary Kurtz had a book out many, many years ago called Unexplainable Acts. And Unexplainable Acts is one of the best books ever. Flurious is one of my favourite routines ever, and that was published in there. But anyway, Unexplainable Acts. There was a concept for an ambitious card where the card was coming to the top of the deck, and the reason for that was because of time travel. And there were some really nice sequences in there. And over the years, I've played around with various different ways of doing that. Now, the way that you're going to see now is the way that I've settled on. There's a lot of magical moments. It's a really cool routine. And the first phase is actually based on Club Sandwich by Andrew Normansell that got bought out by JB Magic many, many years ago. But it's been expanded on and taken in a completely different direction. But it's a really fun routine to do as well. And it's very, very commercial. So you're going to see a performance of me doing this to Jack right now. And then after I've performed it to Jack, I'm going to go through exactly how it works. So let's have a look at a trick I like to call the unknown future.
Okay. Unknown future?
Well, yeah, and the reason I call it the unknown future is because this is all about time travel. This trick's all about time travel. Because you probably don't realise this, but a lot of magicians don't actually do magic. They really just have the ability to travel backwards and forwards in time. You weren't aware of that? I'm like the Doctor. Let me show. No, seriously. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to use the two jokers for this. Okay, we'll put them over there and get back to that in a minute. Now, when you think about time travel, there's 3 points in time. There's the past, there's the present, and the future. And the future is always unknown. Yeah. You never know what the future is going to be. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of seconds. You don't know I'm going to go boop. You don't know that. You didn't realise that. You weren't aware of that, right?
Did you
unknown future. Yes, I did. That's the unknown future. So, with that in mind, we're going to have a card taken to represent the unknown future. Just touch any one. We're not going to look at it because the future is unknown, so the card has to remain unknown. Okay. I'm all right there. That right there is the unknown future. Now, Jack, I'm going to put that into my pocket over here. And we'll get back to it a little bit later on. Right. That card represents the unknown future. Now, Jack, we are now going to pick a card that's going to actually represent it's going to represent you travelling backwards and forwards in time. Me? Yeah, so I'm going to cut packets of cards on the table. As I do, just say stop. Stop. Right there, you sure? Yep. So we've got a 5 of spades. You can do that? I want the 5. Cool. If you're happy, I'm happy. You could have had any one of those cards, but you had the 5 of spades, which is fine. There's a couple of things I need to do. Now, the first thing I need to do, very importantly, is I need to take that 5 and put it facing the other direction, just like that, in between those two jokers. So it's facing the other way. That's important because I'll need to travel back to that point in time later on, and unless that point of time exists, I can't travel to it. It'll all make sense in a second. Now, the other thing that you need is this. You need a pen, and if you could sign that card on the face, that would be amazing. What we're trying to do right now, Jack, is make that card unique, so it's the only card in the pack with your name on it. Perfect. And there's a couple of things that we need to do with that as well. I'm going to take that card that you've just signed and I'm going to pop that in between the jokers as well, so it's facing in the other direction. That's, again, very important, because without doing that, we can't travel to that point in time later on. There is one other thing that we need to do, which is very important, which is to take your card, leave it down in the middle of the deck, facing the only card facing that way in the deck. That's important as well.
Is that when the time travel happens?
That's when the time travel happens. So now we know what's happening. Now we know what's going on. Now we can begin. So the card goes down here. We're going to leave it down in the middle. Can you see it there, Michael?
Yeah.
And what I'll do is we'll just bury it a little bit further down. We'll pop it there and we'll put it here. So the card's lost in the pack. There we go. 52 cards in the deck. Your card in there somewhere, but I don't know where. Now I'm going to show you a magic trick. And it's a really cool magic trick. But it actually uses time travel. You're going to think it's just a trick, but it actually uses time travel. Watch the two jokers. I'm going to just take them and wave them over the pack like this. And when I do, one card appears right there in between them. Not just any card, though, my friend. That is actually the five of spades. Now, that's pretty good, right?
Travel back?
It's travel back in time. Yeah, it's not bad, right? Now, that's not sleight of hand. A lot of people think it's sleight of hand. A lot of people think it's magic. It's nothing to do with that. It's not sleight of hand. It's not magic. All that happened is I activated the time machine built into my deck of cards. And the card travelled to the point in time when it was actually in between those jokers earlier on. That's what I did. Now, I know you don't believe a word I'm saying, so I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to take your card and pop it down into the middle of the deck again. Can you see it there, Michael?
Yeah.
And once again, we're going to leave it down in the middle. I'm going to bury it a little bit further down, just like that. So now I'll show you the same thing again. You can see there's nothing in between the jokers. We've got the two jokers right here. I'm going to go really, really slowly. I'm just going to flip them over like this. I activate the time machine. There's a little button right there. You press the button. And then what happens is you go to the point in time when your card was in between the two.
Been too far.
I've gone to the wrong point in time. I've gone to the point in time when the card was in between the two jokers, but it hadn't been signed. Don't worry, I just have to go a little bit further forward. And now we've got it right there. There we go. That's
What the fuck?
Is this confusing? It probably is.
Just a bit.
It is a little bit. But that's basically how magic works. You know, it's actually relatively easy to travel forward and backward in time. Like, let's say I didn't want your signature on the card. All I'd have to do is activate the time machine and go a little bit further in time, back in time to before you sign the card. You see, now the card's not being signed. Now we just have the joker and the five.
Oh.
If I want to, I can actually go further. Look, if I want to, obviously, at the moment, the card is in between the two jokers, right? Watch this. If I want to, this is quite tricky, but let's see if I can do it. Watch the five, yeah?
Yeah.
I can go forward in time. 1, 2, 3. I can go forward in time to before your card was in between the jokers. I can go to the point in time where it was actually signed and reversed in the middle of the deck.
What the hell?
Isn't that crazy?
Just a bit.
And this is basically how a lot of magic works. It's just time travel. That's basically what happens. But here's the thing. We've been going backwards in time. We've been going forwards in time. And that's all well and good. And that's fine. But you have to remember that eventually the past always becomes the present. And the present always becomes the future. And when you reach the future, the unknown future becomes the known future, and it becomes the present, because when the present leaks into the future, that becomes the present, right? But up until that point, it was the unknown future. Now, do you remember we put that card in the pocket from the very beginning to represent the unknown future?
Yeah.
Like I say, the present always becomes the unknown future.
What the fuck?
And that is the trick. Well, I say trick, it's time travel.
I owe a honk. Honk.
So this is a really commercial trick to do for a few different reasons, but the first reason is it's a regular shuffled deck of cards. You just need the two jokers, and one of them is going to be gimmicked. So what I like to do is, when I've got the card box, I'll take the two jokers and put them under the cellophane of the card box. That way they're there if I need them, and if I don't want to do this routine, I don't have to. Now, let me talk about the gimmick. First of all, you're going to need one regular joker and you're going to need one double-sided joker. Now, I've got a joker with a 5 of spades in it. If you get yourself a double-faced deck of cards, you're going to have in there 2 jokers that are double faces. One that's a 5 of spades, one that's a 5 of hearts, I think. So that's what I would suggest that you get. So you're going to have, so you can take one joker out the deck, the coloured joker, get rid of it. You're going to be left with a regular joker and a matching regular joker that's got a 5 of spades on the back. Now, the one negative with this trick is every single time you do it, you're going to wreck a 5 of spades because you're going to be giving it away. This is the one that I just used when I performed for Jack. So what I suggest you do, if you like this trick and you want to do it again and again and again, is get a forcing deck of 5 of spades, get a forcing deck of 5 of hearts, and then you can alternate between those cards as you're going around from table to table and doing it. And then the reset is, once you've given this card away, just grab another 5 of spades or a 5 of hearts, and you're good to go, and you're ready to go again. But what's nice, it is just a shuffled deck of cards in use as long as you've got that 5 of spades in there. So when you want to perform the trick, you either have the jokers underneath the cellophane, or if you want to use this as an opener, have the jokers in there. And make sure the 5 of spades is on top. Now, this wouldn't be signed, but I'm going to use Jack's signed 5 of spades. Okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to start off by taking the jokers out. And you're going to drop them down on the table. And you want to show that these cards are have backs on them. And I tend to use just a very simple frustration count. Now, you want to know which joker's which. You can either have a little mark on the joker that's got a back if you want to, or typically when I show them like that, which is instantly getting me a glimpse. I say a glimpse, I'm blatantly looking at it, of which card's which, right? So you can do a little frustration count like that just by showing the 2 cards, or because there's only 2 cards, you can pinch them at the side and do that. So all I'm doing is pinching the 2 cards, turning over, pushing off the face card, turning over, pushing off that card. Now, you don't want to make a big deal of this. You don't want to say, I have 2 jokers with 2 backs. That's kind of running when you're not being chased. I like to just say, so I've got these jokers. They're going to become important a little bit later on. And typically, unless I tell you otherwise, put the joker with a back underneath the other joker. Okay? There's a few casual displays that you can do during the routine. Now, you want to make sure that the 5 of spades is on top. Now, if you're using a shuffle deck and it's not on top, as you take the jokers out, just cut the deck so the 5 of spades is on top. So, for example, let's say this is a shuffle deck, and I was taking the 2 jokers out. It would look like this. I'm going to show you something, but I need to take out the 2 jokers. So we're going to take out joker number 1, and we're going to take out joker number 2. Fantastic. So I've got these 2 jokers. I'm going to show you something with them. I'm going to pop them over there. We'll get back to them in a little bit. And in that action, I've got that 5 of spades on top. Okay? So now you're going to have a card taken to represent the unknown future. Now, I'll give you a few options at the end, but this card that's going to represent the unknown future, they're not going to look at it, and it can be any card. So if you've got a table like I have, spread them out on the table. If you're doing this walk around, just spread the cards in between your hands, but have them touch any card. And when they've touched that card, pop it away in your pocket. Accessible pocket with your right hand. You know, like I say, it doesn't really matter. So they touch a card, you take it out, and you're just going to, without looking at it, pop it in the pocket, accessible to the right hand. And I will give you other options on that in a bit. So once you've done that, you now say that you're going to need a card picked to represent them traveling backwards and forwards in time. And you're going to force the 5 of spades on top. Now, I did a timing force there. It's one of my favorite forces to do. It looks like this. Michael, I'm going to cut cards onto the table as I do anytime you want to. Just say stop.
Stop.
There, 5 of spades. Now, how that works very quickly, just so you know, is I cut a small packet of cards, say 15 cards, to the bottom and hold a break. So I've got a break between this big pack and the 15 cards at the bottom. And it's very important, the scripting and how you say it. I'm going to cut the packet 3 times as I say this. I'm going to cut packets of cards onto the table. Cut. As I cut packets of cards onto the table, cut. You're going to say stop anytime you want to. Cut. So I've cut to the point where the next cut is going to be to the break. I've cut probably about half the cards to the table, and they can see I'm cutting big portions. So the next cut, I then don't say anything. So it's like this. I'm going to cut packets of cards onto the table. As I do, anytime you want to, just say stop. Now I don't say anything, and I cut again. It's probably 70% of the time they'll say stop there. And if they do, you show this card. If they don't say stop there, you cut here, so you've only got a few cards left, and they'll probably say stop there 99% of the time, in which case you show this one. If they don't say stop there, you put these underneath, so the card goes back on top, you cut it back into the same position, and then you do the same thing again, but give a different monologue. You say, remember, you've got to say stop before I get to the end. And then I immediately cut to the break, because they're going to say stop very quickly at that point. And when they do, I'm going to show them that card. So let's do it to Michael behind the camera. Michael, I'm going to cut packets of cards onto the table. Anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There, 5 of spades. Now be a dick about it, Michael.
Okay.
Try to be a dick. I know you're a nice guy, but try to be a dick. Michael, I'm going to cut packets of cards onto the table. As I do, anytime you want to, just say stop. Michael, you got to say stop. It's my fault. I shouldn't have picked you. You got to say stop before I get to the end. Anytime you want to, say stop.
Stop.
There, you sure?
Yeah.
5 of spades. It's impossible to not get the 5 of spades, right? Substitute any force that you want to, but I like to use that one, timing force. So now you take the 5 of spades out, and there's a couple of things you have to do for the presentation to make sense. So the first thing that you do is you take the unsigned 5 and put it in between the 2 jokers. Now I like to show it like that because I'm flashing a back of the jokers at this point. So I like to show it like this. And I say, look, I'm going to put your card in between the 2 jokers. And you can even kind of turn that card over and flash back there if you want to. Not that nobody's thinking, hang on a minute, I think that joker doesn't have a back. No one's thinking that. But there's a lot of really nice displays here to show them that they've both got backs on. So you put that there and you say, I'm going to put this in between here. And the reason I'm going to put it in between here is because I can't go back to this point unless that 5 has been put in between these 2 jokers. So now I put the jokers back down on the table and I have them sign the card. So Jack signs the card. And then I repeat that whole thing, but with the signed 5. I say, I'm going to put this back here, and I show it again on the other side. I say, I'm going to put this here because I need to go back to this point, and I can't do that if that card's not there. So at that point, they're convinced that these are normal jokers and they've got this signed 5. The last thing that I do is I take the 5 of spades and I put it face up into the face down deck. And I say, I'm going to put this here. And I say to them, do you know why? And they typically say, because you need to go back to that point in time. And I say, yes, correct. So now the Sharpie can go away. Presentationally, we're on track now. So here's where it gets interesting. The jokers are put to one side. The 5's in the middle face up. So I need to control that 5 to the top. And I'm going to use a Gary Jones, Chris Congreve control called the Top Con control, which is based on the convincing control. It's perfect for this routine because the card is face up in the deck face down. So it's in the perfect position to do the Top Con control. So what this is you spread through to the face up card. You leave the bottom card of the right hand packet side jog to the left, and you use this packet to flip over that 5. You then take that 5 and align it with the card above it as if you're doing the convincing control, and you show it to the audience. Now notice my fingertips are on the face of the double and my thumb is on the back of the double. So that when I show the 5 and then come down here, my fingers can pull back like that. And when I up jog this card, they think it's the 5, but really it's an indifferent card because the 5 is there. So in full speed, it looks like this. So now we're going to lose that card, the 5 of spades, the one that you sign, into the middle of the deck. And now, like I say, the 5 is here, and this is an indifferent card. So now, but they think that's their card. So I then say, I'm going to bury it a little bit further down. I spread the deck until I get to that out jog card, put that card into the middle of this half, put this whole packet into the middle of this half. My thumb riffles down to about the halfway point so I can put that in, and I square everything up, and that 5 is going to be on top. So in full speed, it looks like this. So now it's time to do some magic. I'm going to leave that 5 right there, about halfway down. You know what? I'm going to put it even further down. We'll put it into the middle of this half, and we'll put this half into the middle of this half and lose it in. And it's on top. It's an incredible control. Chris Congreve, Gary Jones. So the first magical moment is to produce the card in between the jokers. So I can show the jokers again if I want to, very cleanly by doing a frustration count. Just put that joker back underneath. So you say, I'm going to show you something amazing with the 2 jokers. Watch very carefully, don't blink. And as I show those 2 jokers, I'm just going to get a break underneath that top card just by pushing over to the right and pulling back. That's their signed card, remember. So these cards go on top here. I pick up all of the cards above the break, including the signed card. This is your standard sandwich kind of revelation. So your left thumb pulls off the face card, the face joker. The double goes on top. Here it is. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to you clamp my thumb down here to grip the two cards. I'm going to re-grip with my fingers underneath and my thumb on top. And then I'm going to shake, and as I shake, I'm going to pull back with my thumb, and it looks like the card just appears. So in full speed, we are like this. You show the jokers, you show them very cleanly, get the break, put these on here, do that, clamp, re-grip, shake, and you've got that card that appears that looks really good. Now you up jog that card, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reverse count the cards into my hand, because this is the one with the back. So I reverse count the cards into my hand, which means that I can turn everything over and show that that 5 is right there in between the jokers, and then I can pull it out like that. And again, this is all about showing as many surfaces of backs on these jokers as I can. So that's the first phase, and it's an impressive moment. Sometimes magicians forget how impressive simple stuff like that is. But that's the setup for this next sequence, which is just mental, you know, with the 5 appearing, disappearing, ink going, it's just mental. So you say, let me do that again, but I'll explain how it works. It's all to do with time travel. You're going to use the same top con control. So I spread to the halfway point, I put that 5 back, I show it like that, and I do the same move. So that's now the dummy card. And the card goes right here down into the middle of this half goes into the middle of this half, I push it all the way in, and I'm done. So now the card's back on top again. So now I'm going to say, right, okay, let me explain how it works. Now, we should have the joker with the back on the bottom, but you can lift up towards yourself at any point you want to. You can kind of lift up and check if you want, so as long as people aren't standing directly behind you. So you say, look, I'm going to show you again. All it is time travel. Now, I very cleanly show these two jokers so they can see there's nothing hidden in between them. It's important that the double facer is on the face of the regular joker. And all I'm going to do is flip these over. Now, how I flip them over is just like a book. Now, be careful. You don't want to do this and prematurely show the 5. You want them to align as you're flipping them over. And this is the Andrew Norman cell concept. So you're flipping them over like that. And with no moves, and this is such a beautiful moment, with no moves, you spread over and they see this 5 here. And they react to it, because a second ago, think about this, a second ago there was nothing there. Then all of a sudden there's apparently a 5 in between the cards. It's great. And it takes them a second, and then they realize that it's not signed. And I actually, because I can flash this joker, I actually say, oh, look, I went to the wrong point in time before you signed it. Which is just an insane moment, right? You say, look, I went back in time to before you signed it. Don't worry, I can fix that. Now, all you're going to do is a Monty move. So you're displaying here with the joker. You turn the joker over and you pick up the fan of 3. You're holding the deck in the hand. You push it back a little bit so you've got your thumb and your forefinger free. Now, all the left hand is going to do is turn over, thumb underneath, finger on top, and you're going to grab these 2 cards, turn them over, and as you turn them over, your finger and thumb pushes and pulls. So you're switching the positions. And as you do that, the right hand is just going to turn its card over as well. And when you do it at the right time, it looks like the signature just appears on the 5. It's slightly discrepant because you're turning all 3 cards over, and yet, you know, they're not seeing a back of that card. It's a little bit discrepant, but nobody ever notices anything. And you can then flash with the same card the back of the joker, and it's very, very clean. So in full speed, it looks like this. You say, look, I'm going to go to the point in time where your card is in between the 2 jokers. Watch carefully. Watch the 2 jokers. Don't blink for a second. Keep an eye on them. Nothing happens until I activate the time machine. And now, right there in between the 2 jokers, oh, I went to the wrong point in time before you signed it. Don't worry, I can fix that. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. That's what the signature looks like, right? And then you flash the back of this joker again. That's what the signature looks like. Drop that down here. Put this underneath. And if you want to, you can do a little frustration count before you drop those over there. Okay? Now, that's insane. You've just had 2 really cool magical moments. All you're going to do now is pick these jokers up and reverse count them onto the top of the deck, keeping a break between the 2 of them. Now this, you need to make sure that the double facer is on top. So when you pick these up, if you want to check and do a situation check, you can. If you're already in this situation, don't reverse count them. because else you'll end up with the wrong one on top. You want to make sure that this card is on top, okay? So you just put them here and get a break in between them. Because now you're going to go back in time to before this card was signed. And it's very simple, it's just a double lift. So you turn the 5 over that's signed, you square it up with the pack, you press the button in the middle to activate the time machine, and now you're going to do a double turnover. And when you do a double turnover, they still see a joker, so there's no discrepancy there. They still see a joker, but now the signature's gone, and they saw a back on that card, and it's like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is ridiculous. And they'll react to that moment, because think about it, from their point of view, they see a signature, you tap, and now there's no signature. It's an insane moment, right? They'll react. And on that offbeat, you're just going to do one slight displacement. All you're going to do is pick up on 2 cards, and you can flash the back of that 5 if you want to. Flash the back of that card. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to push off. You've only got 1 joker. You're going to push that card off, put the 5 underneath, put the double underneath, and square everything up. It's just a little displacement that you need to do, but let's go to this point so you can see it again. It's a little displacement that you need to do, very, very important to do that displacement, but it's done completely on the offbeat. So you're here, you say if I want to, I can go back in time to before you even sign the card. See, no signature. Isn't that weird? And the displacement's done. So situation check, you've now got a joker, you've got a double facer, and you've got the signed 5. Now, all you're going to do is pick off 2 cards. You're going to pick off 2 cards. Now, when you pick off 2 cards, they're going to see that the 5 is going to be there, and you don't want them to see it. So you pick off 2 cards, and you wrist kill at the same time, and drop those there. And you allow that top card to move over slightly so they can see the 5s there. In a second, you're going to show that as 2 jokers and a 5. Now, the other 5 is reversed here because they didn't see that because of the wrist kill. So all you do is you just turn the deck and you just give the cards a cut, centralizing that card, and then just put the deck on the table. So now you're close to the finish, and this is going to be an incredible vanish. First of all, you're going to show that there's a 5 in between 2 jokers, 1, 2, 3. And this is an Edward Victor I count. And all you're going to do is, very, very simply, you hold it as if you're doing an Elmsley count. You push over the joker, you take it on the count of 1. As you apparently take the 5, you're just going to pull that joker back and just drop that on top. So it's 1, 2, 3. It looks very deceptive. Now you're going to do a vanish that I first saw Jay Sankey do. So you show the 5 in between the jokers. And again, 1, switch to... By the way, the thing with the I count is you want to... The tempo is important. If you do this, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't look very good. You need to go 1, 2, 3. Tempo is important. So you do the I count, boom, boom, boom. And then all you do is, this is the Jay Sankey vanish. You do this. So let's get it right. You do this, watch. Oh, dear me, what's going wrong with me? Fingers and thumbs. Let me do that again. You do this. There. It's not just Jay Sankey that does this. I've seen a few people do it. Oh my gosh, very famous bar magician whose name escapes me, unfortunately. He does that as well. It'll come to me. But it looks like this, like that. Now I'm going to show you a variation of that in a minute that Sankey did as well. But how to do that one, very simply, you're in this situation, you've just done the I count. Your hand is going to come over and palm the 2 cards. And then you're going to put your hands together as if you're praying. And can you see that, Michael? Yeah. You're basically just going to rotate your hands like this. So 1 card goes that way, 1 card goes that way. And then you just cross your arms and you just drop. So it's basically just a fancy way of turning that 5 over. But you can't tell you've turned it over. So you see the 5 in between the 2 jokers. You do this, you do this, you do this. And it looks like the 5's gone. Now that's the first way of doing it. The second way of doing it, which I've done many, many times, is this. Have a look at this. So you show the 5 in between the 2 jokers, and you say, look, I'm going to go back in time to when that 5 didn't exist. And what you do is you take the jokers and you wave it over the 5, and the 5 just vanishes. Now that is another Jay Sankey move, and what you're doing is you've done the I count. So you're here, 1, 2, 3. You then just take that joker, put it to the bottom, and you put this double facer in a Findlay tent vanish position. This is Findlay tent vanish. So this one's held in the hand and this one's held at a 45-degree angle. Now your right hand's going to come over as if it's taking that 5 like that. But as it apparently takes the 5, what's going to happen is your middle finger is going to push that card up and it's going to turn that over and take both of them and wave them and drop them on the table. So from this angle, it looks... How's that look, Michael?
Good.
Looks like it just vanishes.
Yeah.
It's completely up to you. If you want to, it's a bit more angly, but it's up to you which one you go for. I typically go for this one, but it's your choice. Either way, you show that they've gone, and you're not going to do anything with those now. So if you want to put them underneath the cellophane, you can. They're done. You then talk about how you've gone forward in time to when it was reversed in the pack and it was signed, and you get that moment, which is really cool. And then you're going to do one last top con control, or you can just do any control that you want to, but you're in the perfect position to do a top con control. And you're going to talk about the future and the past and the unknown future and the present, and this wonderful Gary Kurtz line, which is the unknown future, the present always becomes the unknown future, which is just a great line. And as you say that, you're just going to palm the top card of the deck off. So you've got the 5 of spades palm there. And you say, do you remember the card that I put in my pocket to represent the unknown future? And you're going to go with that palmed card into the pocket and just pull that palmed card out. So you just pull the palmed card out of your pocket and you say, do you remember when the unknown card, the card that I put in the pocket from the beginning to represent the unknown future? Well, the unknown future always becomes the present. And you just turn that card over and you show it, and that becomes the card. That becomes the 5 of spades. You know, that's the card. Now, there's a couple of different... I know some people don't like palming, so there's a couple of different options that I can give you if you don't want to do that. The first option is use a Mullica wallet or a nest of wallets by, what's his name? Matthew Wright. Both of those will be fine, and you can give the wallet or you can give the envelopes out at the beginning. The other option, if you don't want to do that, is to use a double backer. Can you pass me one of those double backers there, Michael? Those red ones, there you go. Multitasking, not just filming, but passing cards as well. So what you can do is include a double backer in this whole thing. So go back to where we were a second ago, right at the very beginning. We had the 5 of spades on top, and we'd just taken the 2 jokers out, right? If you have, well, you could have the 2 jokers in the middle. So have the 2 jokers in the middle, bada boom, bada bing. Have the double backer on top of the 5. So if you don't want to do any palming, here's what you do. You bring the deck out, don't spread through it, else they're going to see the double face up. You're going to spread through it face up. You're going to take the jokers out. So that's the first joker, that's the second joker. And you can do your little frustration count like we talked about, blah, 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 blah. And you say you need a card to represent the unknown future. Now you've got this double backer on top. You're going to have them cut the deck anywhere they want to. So they cut the deck anywhere they want to, and you have them turn the deck over and put it on top. And then you spread through and you say, right, this is the first face down card. That's going to represent the unknown future. And you just leave that on the table. Now that will be the double backer, even though they could have cut anywhere they wanted to. Now the 5 of spades is going to be the next card along, but nobody registers that because you're not drawing attention to these cards. You're drawing attention to this card here. So you spread through and you say, this card here is going to represent the unknown future. I'm going to put that there. And then you flip these over and now your 5 of spades is on top. Now, if you don't want that 5 of spades to prematurely show up, you can put the 5 of spades second from the bottom, put the double backer on top, have them cut the deck anywhere they want to, turn it face up, put it back on top, spread through, and you say that's going to represent the unknown future. Now, all you have to do is flip these cards over and double undercut the bottom 2 cards to the top. And that, as soon as you've double undercutted the bottom 2 cards to the top, that will bring your 5 of spades to the top. Now, the reason for all of that is because at the end of the routine, when you've made this vanish and you've done all of that, rather than palming this card off when it's on top, you just leave it on top and you say, you remember this card represents the unknown future? Well, you're not going to believe this. And all you're going to do is pull this double backer on top of the deck, flip that double backer over, and then deal it onto the table, and that becomes their card. And they don't see that this is being switched because this has got a back on both sides. So if you want to completely eliminate, and it looks really cool, you say, remember this card represents the unknown future. You're not going to believe this. Now, the important thing is you have to justify putting this on top of the deck. Because why are you not just turning it over? Well, from a methodology point of view, you're not turning it over because you have to switch it. But you can't use that as justification. I'm going to put this on the deck so that I can switch it. So you have to have a reason. And my reason, if I was going to do this, is to say, look, this card here. So I'm picking it up to show it to the audience. This card here. Do you remember this one? This represents the unknown future. Well, here's the thing. The unknown future, the present always becomes the unknown future. And then, if you want to be left with a regular deck, all you got to do is pick up the two jokers, add the double backer onto it, so you've stolen that double backer out, put everything into your pocket, and you're left with a regular deck of cards with a signed card, so you can do your 457 phase ambitious card routine, because that's always a commercial killer. So that's the unknown future. I think we've got time to lecture on at least one or two other things. So let's have a look at something else right now. So the next routine I'm going to show you is called Emergency Card, and it's a really fun routine based on something that Lloyd Barnes showed me years ago. And it's a way of doing like it's a way of doing like a splitting the aces style routine that was popularized with Paul Harris. It's a way of doing that, but making it easier for yourself because you're using gaffs. But you're openly showing that the cards are gaffed, which is kind of a weird thing that you're exposing the gaffs at the beginning of the routine. But honestly, when I do this, this gets some of the best reactions from lay people because it's like you're opening the curtain and giving them a peek at how magic tricks are done, but then completely blowing them away at the same time. It's really fun. Let's have a look at a performance of me doing this to Jack. And then after we've looked at the performance, I'm going to talk about how... So I've got a deck of cards here, my friend, and you're going to pick one, and you're going to pick one for Michael as well. So first of all, grab one for yourself. Doesn't really matter what the card is. Absolutely fine. And show the camera, obviously. And then you're going to pick one for Michael. So which one do you want for Michael? You want that one for Michael. Yep. It looks like a Michael card. Show the camera. Now, if you put yours cards back, that would be great. Or you're putting them both back together. Okay, make it hard for me. That's fine. My fault, I shouldn't have picked you and all those fun lines like that. So now, somewhere in this deck is your cards. And I don't want to find them. I don't need to find them. Because frankly, Jack, I don't need to find them because I have emergency cards. You see, every magician has emergency cards. Let me show you what an emergency card looks like. These are emergency cards. If you're a professional magician, you carry them with you in case of emergency. And whenever you need them, you can use them. What they are, now they look, have a look at them. They look like they've got backs on both sides. They look kind of weird, like they're backs on both sides. But these cards can get you out of any situation, whether you are a magician or a gambler, although honestly, gamblers don't really have access to this technology, only magicians do. Let me show you, here, you hold on to those. Right. Let's say I wanted to make two aces appear. Okay. For whatever reason. Let's say I'm doing a 4-ace trick. I'm doing the performance of my life. I'm performing to Simon Cowell. I'm saying to him, I need to find the 4 aces, and I've failed miserably. I've died on my arse. I don't know where they are. This is where I pull out an emergency card. Because you see, all I have to do... Now, what you don't realise is they're not actually made out of cardboard. They're made out of space-age technology designed to look like a playing card. But inside this playing card, there is technology. There's wires. There's circuitry that's been shrunk down. And it's flexible, so it looks just like a card. But you can program this for anything. It's very easy. Program it to aces. That's all I need to do. Yeah, it's vibrated. That means that now I can split it apart and I can get the 2 black aces. That's basically how this whole thing works, Jack. Right. That's basically what it is. That's the... I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Let's say if I wanted the 2 red aces, because obviously, give me another one. I'm performing for Simon Cowell. I would need the 2 red aces as well, right, if I'd messed it up. Now, this is how you program it. Look, here, inside this angel, you've got to get it the right side. This is about something completely different. But this here, this side here, this angel right there, this is how you get the ace. So you just do this on the... You got to go for the angel's left nipple. Why? Hold it down. That's the ace. The angel, the angel's left nipple is the ace, and I want the red aces. So that's the other angel's groin, which is hard to get because he's sitting on a bike. But you do that, and then that programs it. Now you got to wait for it to be accepted by the program. So you just yeah, it's buzzed. It's just vibrated. No, seriously, now I can split it apart. That's how it works. That's basically what this whole thing's about. Now, obviously, I just use that. You can say that. I just use those to get the aces, right? But I can actually, if I want to, use it to get anything. So, Michael, what was your card?
I was the 3 of spades.
Oh, 3 of spades. So hang on a minute. That's the that's the top angel's right testicle. Okay, 3. And shut up. No, I'm serious. And the spade is the forehead. Right. Okay. 3 of spades. What was yours?
5 of spades.
5 of spades. Oh, right. Okay. So that's just slightly under the navel. You know, the little belly button thing. And same thing. 5 of spades. 3 of spades. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to buzz. Okay, it's buzzed. Hang on a minute. There's the 5 of spades. That's the 3 of spades. And that's how emergency cards work. If you want to get aces, if you want to get any other card, that's what you do. That's all you need. You just need some emergency cards. So that is the routine emergency card. Now, there's a few things you're going to need for this. You're going to need 3 double-backed cards that you just keep in your pocket, in your wallet, or somewhere like that. Now, interestingly, if you've ever learnt my routine back off, which is one of my favourite tricks of all time, which you can learn from my Vanishing Ink Masterclass. You can learn it from the NETRIX. I think those are the 2 places it's on. If you do my routine back off, you're left with 3 double backers, which are openly shown to the spectators, and you know you've created these impossible objects. You can go from back off into this. It's a great lead-in for this particular routine, or you can just do this as a standalone piece. If you're going to do it as a standalone piece, just have these double backers anywhere. And just have a regular deck and you're good to go. So it's a shuffle deck of cards in use. One thing I will say is the double backers have to be the same colour both sides. So don't go for a red-blue. That's not going to work. They're red-reds. And also, kind of goes without saying, but make sure they match the deck that you're using. If you're using blue-blue double backers and you're having a red deck in play, that means you're an idiot. Just saying. So, joking, you're not an idiot. So you need 3 double backers. So there is a small setup to the trick as well, but it's the sort of thing that you can set up on the fly. All you're going to need are the 4 aces. So you're going to need the 4 aces, ace of clubs, ace of hearts, ace of spades, ace of diamonds. You can cull those if you want to. There's many ways of setting this up, and then all you're going to do is flip over the aces like this. So this is the this is the starting position. The 2 black aces are face to face. The 2 red aces are face to face, just like that. And the nice thing about this is you can you can put them in any position. Absolutely fine. You can shuffle the cards, keep that top stock on top. So those 4 cards remain on top. And as I say, you can get into that on the fly very, very easily. So when you want to go into the routine, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have 2 cards picked and you're going to control them to the bottom of the deck. So let's start with having the 2 cards picked. You're going to spread through and have 2 people take cards. Now, when you spread through, don't spread like that because they're going to see reversed aces at the top. That's kind of give the game away. So you spread like this. Okay, you spread like this. And you have them touch a card, and you have the second person touch a card. So they touch the first card, and you have a second person touch a card, just like that. So the 2 cards that we've got are the 9 of clubs and the 8 of diamonds. Doesn't matter what it is, there's no force, okay? So now, you're going to control those cards to the bottom of the deck, and it's up to you how you do it. I think in the routine, I just double undercutted them to the top. I think what I did in the routine is I just did a running cut to the top of the deck and then double undercutted them to the bottom, which would look like this. You kick cut half the cards over into the left hand so that the ace setup is there. The first card gets put back there, and I put this packet on top holding a break. So I've got a break above those cards. I then cut at the break and have the second person put their card back there, and I put these on top again holding a break. So I've got a break above the 2 selected cards and the 4 aces. Now just do a running cut to the break. So I cut 2 or 3 packets onto the table. The final packet is cutting to the break, which means that the 2 selected cards and the 4 aces are here, and then that just goes on top. So now I need to get these 2 cards to the bottom, and I'm just going to do a table double undercut, which looks like this. It looks like you just give the cards a few cuts, And now those two cards are at the bottom. So how that's done is you get a break underneath the top two cards. So I've got a break underneath the top two cards. You can just spread the cards off. You can do a pinky count. You can just lift them up at the back, whatever you want to do. You take that break with your right thumb and you're going to undercut half the cards from the bottom and put them on top, transferring that thumb break to a little finger break. Then you're going to have a break in the middle of the deck right there. You're going to cut half of the cards above the break to the table, cut the other half of the cards above the break to the table to the right, drop the remaining packet on the left, and pick up the combined packet and put it on the packet on the right. That will leave the 4 aces on top of the deck and the 2 selected cards at the bottom. So that control sequence in full speed looks like this. The first card gets put back here. The second card gets put back here. We give the cards a couple of cuts just to make sure that those cards really are lost in the deck. No idea where they are. But in reality, we're set up. So now I'm going to reach into my pocket and I'm going to bring out those 3 double backers. And I'm going to have them look at the cards. Now, while they're doing that, I'm just going to get a break underneath the top 2 cards, which are the 2 black aces. So I've got my break there underneath the top 2 cards. They're looking at these cards, they're checking them out, they're making sure that they're okay and, you know, they are what they're meant to be. And now you're going to take them back and you're going to explain that these are emergency cards and I can program them to have any card that I want. Total bollocks, but it's a really funny presentation and you can have a lot of fun with it. You saw me with Jack, like if I'm with the right audience, I'll say, yeah, you got to touch the left nipple of the top angel. Yeah, you can do stuff like that. If you want to dub it down a bit and make it a bit more kiddie, you can. Flow with whatever presentation you like best. But the whole idea is that you're going to do this. You're going to apparently split that double backer open into 2 aces, and it looks sick. So what's happening here is these are face to face. You've got the break underneath the 2 of them. You put the double backer on top. I was just about to say that, make sure it's backside up, but that's just stupid. You put the double backer on top and you square up and you pick up all the cards above the break. So I'm holding 3 cards, but it still looks like a double backer, which is cool. Now I'm going to show these cards and I'm going to put that triple onto the deck, side jog for about half of its length. My thumb, my left thumb, clamps down on that triple just to keep it aligned and make sure it's all there. Now, when you're working with a triple, don't have the deck pointing directly to the audience. If you've got the audience, if it's walk around, not a problem. If they're sitting opposite you or something, just angle the deck slightly forward like that. But you're in this situation, you're here. All that's going to happen is your right hand is going to come over and your right thumb is going to push like you're doing an Elmsley count, an old-fashioned Vernon-style Elmsley, Alex Elmsley-style Elmsley count, where you're pushing from that position. So you're going to push those 2 cards over. You can do a push-off of 2 cards. And then in the same action as doing that, you're going to allow these 2 cards that you've pushed off to flick over like that. And then you're just going to deal those down to the table. That's it, really. It's not hard by any stretch of the imagination. You're here, so you're going to push over, flip that double over onto the pack and drop. In full speed, it looks like this. You show the double backer, you say that you just program it, and you do that. Very cool moment. Now I need to get rid of this double backer on top, and the way to do that is to do a slip cut. I'm just going to slip cut it into the middle. I don't want to put it to the bottom because that's where my selected cards are, so I'm just going to slip cut it into the middle. That looks like that. Now, if you don't know what a slip cut is basically is I'm going to pick up half the cards in biddle or overhand grip. My thumb is going to pull that card on from the top of the deck into the middle, and then I drop them back on top. It looks like I cut the cards, but I'm just shifting 1 card to the middle. It's a slip cut. Now that gives me access to the next 2 aces. Perfect, right? So now I get a break underneath these 2, and I have the next double backer, and I say, let's get the red aces, and, you know, I'm fondling the angels or whatever it is that I'm doing with the presentation. This is exactly the same sequence. So you take the double backer, you put it on top. You can show it again if you want to. That's a triple. Do the programming thing, and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to push the double, flip it over, and then just drop. Okay, so in full speed, you're here, you show the double backer, push, boom, drop. Okay. So now we've got the 4 aces. Now, we need to switch this last double backer for the 2 selected cards at the bottom. And this is a move by Greg Wilson that he first put on Card Stunts, very old DVD from many, many years ago. You're going to get a break underneath the top 2, above the bottom 2 cards. So you can just spread out if you want to. This is the offbeat right now. They've just seen a 4-ace production. They think the trick's over. So you can just spread out and get a break. Or if you want to, you can riffle up at the back and get a break. Whatever you want to do, you get a break above the bottom 2 cards. Now, this is the move. Let me show you what it looks like. You take the double backer and you say, that leaves 1 to go. Can you hold on to the aces for me? Fantastic, thank you. And I've just switched that double backer for the 2 selected cards. Now what's happening here is it's a misdirection thing. So you've got the aces here, and it's important that you place them on the table in front of you. You take the double backer and you use the double backer to scoop up the 4 aces, and you can show both sides if you want to. I hand it to somebody, so everyone's attention is now shifted from the deck over to the person I'm handing the aces to. So I hand the aces over to them. They take the aces. Now, this is kind of a weird version of a top change. As I come back with the double backer, it's going to go on top of the deck, and my right hand, if I come here, you'll see, I pull down on these 2 cards. This goes on top of the deck, and I grab the entire deck, and I'm left with these 2 cards here. And they assume this is the double backer that they've just seen. So in full speed, it looks like this. That leaves us with 1 double backer. I can actually use these to find cards. Can you hold on to the aces for me? Fantastic, thank you. Now notice, when I do the switch, hold on to these aces for me, can you? Thank you. As I do the switch, I then gesture forward with this hand. So this hand comes back and continues to go back as this hand goes forward. And everyone's attention is on the aces. So again, that leaves this one here. Can you hold on to these for me? Fantastic. I'm going to try and get your 2. And I just drop this down there, and now I'm focusing over here. And I've got this double. They think it's a double backer. I'm so far ahead of them, it's almost not fair. So now, this is Paul Harris's move to split 2 cards. And it looks like this. It looks amazing. Now, you're holding a double. And I like to do the programming thing. Just hold a double to 2 cards as 1. You're going to hold... You're holding it in dealing grip, which is keeping it aligned. And then the right hand's going to come over at the bottom right corner, thumb on top, forefinger and middle finger underneath. You're going to push that card forward and to the left. And as you push it forward and to the left hand is going to turn over. So it's going to turn over and it's going to mirror this hand, but in the opposite direction. So with this hand, the fingers are underneath and the thumb's on top. With this hand, the fingers are on top and the thumb's underneath. So you here, you mirror, you push, this left hand flicks outwards as the right hand turns inwards. And when you get it at the right speed, and you get that nice splitting noise, it looks great. And you just put that there, and you've created a 4-ace production and found 2 selected cards as well. Now you're left with a regular deck of cards other than some double backers. There's going to be 2 double backers on the top. There's going to be 1 double backer at the bottom. So what I like to do to get myself out of this situation, there's a couple of different things. You can say, let me take out the joker and I'm going to show you something else. And you go through the deck with the faces towards you. You up jog the double backer that's in the middle, put it on top, and you pretend to take that card, but you're taking all 3 double backers, put them away in your pocket, you're left with a regular deck. Or if you want to, you can just cull that card and then just have it on top, so it's cold on top, and then just palm those 3 cards off. But to be honest, I'd take out the joker that doesn't exist. And the nice thing is you're left, when you've got rid of those, you're left with 4 aces, so you can go into your favorite 4-ace trick. And if you haven't got a 4-ace trick that's your favorite, give your magic card back, because that means that you're not a real magician. Every magician should have a favorite 4-ace trick. So there you go. We're going to move on now with a coin trick. I think it's about time we do a coin trick, so let's have a look at a coin trick right now. So anyone that's been a fan of this channel for any length of time will know that I'm a huge fan of Troy Hooser's CCC, which stands for Charming Chinese Challenge. And I love Charming Chinese Challenge. I really do. I've loved it for so long. It's one of my go-to effects. If you don't know what Charming Chinese Challenge is, it's 3 Chinese coins threaded onto a ribbon, and one at a time they come off. It's a beautiful routine. I perform it all the time. Well, a few years ago, I was trying to come up with a way of doing this with 1 coin. And the reason is there's a routine I do with 1 Chinese coin, and I thought this would make a great lead in. And I thought having just 1 coin would give it a certain amount of clarity. And this is the sequence this is the sequence that I came up with about 5 or 6 years ago now. And one day I'll actually teach the routine that goes from, I'm struggling to speak. So one day on the NETRIX, I'm going to put the routine out that this leads into, because it's like a multi-phase Chinese coin routine, which is awesome. But this is a great lead in. And the fact that the follow-up routine uses 1 coin, this using 1 coin just is perfect. Now, in a second, you're going to see a performance of it. I will tell you that you're going to need a shell. You're going to need 2 Chinese coins, and you need a shell that fits over the Chinese coins. Now, I was using a different shell for ages, but the best ones that I've found now are TCC. They do the Artisan coin range, and they do Chinese coins that have a shell that's absolutely perfect for this routine. So you're going to need to do that. Now, like I say, this is inspired by Triple C, Charming Chinese Challenge. Troy Hooser, you can learn that from, well, Vanishing Ink have that as a standalone product. So you can buy Charming Chinese Challenge as a standalone product. I first learned it from his book Destroyers. Also a little bit of a shout out in that Avi Yap has a trick out called Threaded. Recently came out through Sky Member, which is totally different to this, but also introduces the concept of a Chinese coin routine on a ribbon using a shell. Avi's going in a completely different direction. He's using 3 coins. He's doing something similar to Charming Chinese Challenge. Very, very good. You should go check it out. It's actually really good. There's a kickback at the end. Very different to this, but you know, there's your crediting. Let's have a look at a performance of this, and then we'll talk about how it works. So I've got a little purse here, and inside the purse there's a couple of things. Now the first thing that you'll see there is a coin. Reach in, take the coin out, but leave the other thing in there. And there you go.
Grab it.
Do you want me to get it for you?
Okay.
Okay, have a look at the coin, check it out, make sure it's okay. Make sure there's nothing weird about it. It is what it appears to be.
It's very pretty.
It is very pretty.
Okay.
It's got a hole in the middle. That's important. Now pop the coin back in there and pull out the other thing. And have a look at that. That is actually a little ribbon.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's a cute little ribbon, isn't it? So we have a ribbon and we have the coin. Yes? Ribbon, coin, and we're going to do a whole bunch of magic. Now I want you to watch very carefully. Do not blink for a second. If you blink, you will miss it. The coin goes right here on, it goes onto the ribbon.
Yep.
Now you can see that there's no ambiguity there. That coin really is on the ribbon.
Yep.
Now that's what it looks like when you put a coin on a ribbon. If you take a coin off a ribbon, it looks like that. That's how you take a coin off a ribbon.
Wow.
I point this out to you because when I show you this, you'll realise that that is the magic way of putting a coin on a ribbon.
How'd you do that?
Well, you might have missed it, so let me do it again. Now, give it a little pull. Is it really on there? It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is on there. See, if I want to get that coin off the ribbon, all I have to do is hold on to the ends and pull. And I can pull it right through the middle of the coin. Now, I want you to see that that really is, it's not like that comes apart or anything. You examined it, right?
It's real.
And you can see that it's not like it doesn't open up or anything. It's literally, when I touch the middle to the coin, it goes right through. It's kind of weird, don't you think?
Just a bit.
I've seen it before. I still don't know how it works. Let me take the coin off one more time. And I tell you what, with this hand you hold on to there, and with this hand hold on to there. Okay. Now you're holding on to the ends. I'm going to take the ribbon and I'm going to put the coin right there. And when I do and squeeze, I can actually have that coin pop right onto the ribbon. Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty cute.
Of course, if I told you the whole thing was an illusion, you probably wouldn't believe me. If I told you that the coin was never on the ribbon, you probably wouldn't believe me. If I told you that the coin was never there, you probably wouldn't believe me, would you? But that's the case. You see, the coin has never been on the ribbon. The coin was never taken out the purse.
What?
You see, over here, from the very beginning, inside there,
Coin.
that's where the coin has been from the very, very beginning.
You saw the coin, right?
Yeah.
Now it's an illusion.
But he's...
Okay, so I've got Jack with me, and the reason is a lot of the moves that I'm teaching involve someone's hand, so I'm going to use Jack to help me. So you're going to need a quiver here. Now, if you don't know what a quiver is, it's like a modern-day change purse for a close-up magician. It allows you to have two sections, and using this tab here, you can move from one section to the other. So I could, for example, put a coin in here, and then have it vanish, because that's what a quiver does. And a lot of people just use it to do a switch, but I've got a load of routines with the quiver, and here is a perfect way of having the coin examined at the beginning, and also at the same time having a nice kicker ending for the trick as well. So let me go through this. In the quiver, in one side, so you've got the shell, you've got the two Chinese coins. The shell goes on one of the Chinese coins, and that goes in one side of the quiver. The other side of the quiver, you put the other Chinese coin, and you also put the ribbon, and that is all you need, and you're good to go. So the nice thing about this trick is it's self-contained, it's examinable at the beginning, it's examinable at the end, and it instantly resets, and that's all you need in your pocket. So you bring out your little wallet and you say, I'm going to show you something with a coin and a ribbon. It's a very old coin, and what you're going to do is open up your quiver to the correct side and show in there that there's a ribbon, there's a coin, and you have the person reach in and take out the coin and examine it. So they take out the coin first of all, they look at the coin, they check it out, they make sure it's okay, and you say drop the coin in there and take out the ribbon and check the ribbon out and make sure the ribbon's okay. Now while they're looking at the ribbon, all you're going to do is switch to the other side of the quiver. So when you say is the quiver, you say is the coin okay? Yeah. Is the ribbon okay? And they say yes, and then you reach in and you apparently take the coin out again, but in reality you've switched it for the coin with a shell on. Casually show that this is empty and put this to one side. We've already got the coin loaded in there, so for the finale it's going to go back into there, which is awesome. So now obviously, because this has got a shell on it, anytime you want to, you could palm the shell off and have the coin examined, but you don't need to, you've just had it examined. So now you're going to take the ribbon back, and you're going to start off by saying, let me show you what it looks like to put a coin on and take a coin off a ribbon. And you put the ribbon through the coin and you move it to the middle. So you just make sure that the two ends are aligned, you move it to the middle, and you say, that's how you put a coin on a ribbon. Is it really on there? And even though there's a shell on this coin, because of the ribbon, it just keeps everything aligned. You can even have them pull on the coin and they're not going to be able to tell there's a shell there, but unless you're Jack. Like normally, I've done that for years. I've never had anyone, look, you just pull it. It's weird. If you're performing to Jack, don't let him pull on the coin, but everyone else can. If you're concerned, you don't obviously need to have the spectator pulling it, but the point is, it keeps that shell perfectly aligned on that coin. Now, you're going to take the, so you say that's what it looks like putting a coin onto a ribbon. This is what it looks like taking the coin off a ribbon. Now, all you're going to do is you're going to pinch the shell and the coin with your left hand, okay? And you need to make sure that the shell is pointing away from you, the coin is pointing towards you, and you put it into this position, which is kind of a French drop spellbound position right here. You want to make sure that the ends are aligned. And what you're going to do, I'll turn around. Can you see this, Michael? Yeah. All you're going to do is as you come over to take that coin off, as your fingers cover, you're just going to allow that coin to drop down into finger palm. And then at the same time, you're going to lift up on that shell, pinch the ribbon, and pull the shell off like this. From the audience's point of view, it doesn't look like anything's happened, but you've got that coin on that ribbon. So in full speed, they've just examined the coin. You say, Jack, let me show you what it looks like when you put a coin on and take a coin off a ribbon. If you're going to put a coin on a ribbon, you do this. You slide the ribbon through the hole. You make sure it's there in the middle, and as you can see, that's where the coin is on the ribbon. Now, if you want to take the coin off the ribbon, it's exactly the same thing, but in reverse, you just take the coin off the ribbon like that. You say, that's obvious, but I need you to understand that because what you're about to see right now is real magic. So it looks like you're holding the ribbon in the right hand and the coin in the left hand. In reality, you've got the shell in the left hand, and in the right hand, you've got the ribbon and you've got the coin there in finger palm. So you move this shell to spellbound position, that's spellbound. And what's going to happen, the left hand is just going to allow that shell to drop into finger palm. That's all that's going to happen. The left hand is going to allow that shell to drop into finger palm. And at the same time, the right hand is going to touch the middle of the ribbon to the coin. Now look at what's happening here. You come over, you're holding the ribbon, your right hand comes over when the finger, your thumb goes on the coin, so the fingers can do this, it can extend. And all you're going to do is your thumb is going to knock that shell down, and you're going to be left there. These fingers grip the coin, and then you come away, and it looks like the coin is just melted right back onto the ribbon. Now, full speed, it looks like this. You're holding this here, you're holding this here, you just do that. Doesn't that look amazing? Doesn't that look really cool? It just looks like it's on there. Now, notice I'm holding the ribbon with my right hand, and I'm holding the coin with my left hand. It's making the coin look natural. It's making this hand that's got the shell palm look natural because it's holding the coin. I now let go with my right hand. I'm still holding the coin, and I'm going to set up for a Jay Sankey move that he first used in a trick with a key called Leaving Home. And it looks like this, watch. So you're going to put your forefinger into the ribbon, and you're going to grip, you're going to come down a little bit and then make a fist like that. So part of the center of the ribbon is just draped over the finger like that. Can you see that, Michael?
Yeah.
Just like this. And the reason the forefinger's in there is so that you've got a nice gap. Now it's going to look, remember you've still got this in finger palm. It's going to look like you take this coin into a fist. But in reality, if you look at it from this side, you might have to come around here, Michael. If you look at it like this, your thumb is going into the ribbon, and you're actually gripping that coin there, like that, on the outside of the fist. Now, that's pretty much angle proof, as you can see. From this side, it looks like it's in the fist. From this side, it looks in the fist. From your point of view, it looks like it's in the fist. But in reality, it's there. The thumb goes in. This is still in finger palm. The thumb goes in, and you grip this outside. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
Now, in the same action, you're going to let go with this hand, so all of this drapes down. Your right hand is going to apparently just take the ribbon, but as it comes in, fingers together, fingers pointing up, it allows that coin to drop into finger palm as I pull like this, and I'm pulling the ribbon around my thumb, and then I take it off the thumb and I pull, and it's there. So let's do that in full speed, shall we? So in full speed, that whole sequence, those first two phases look like this. Jack, if I want to put this coin onto the ribbon, I'd very simply just put the ribbon through the coin like that. You can see that in there, right?
Yep.
And if I wanted to take the coin off the ribbon, simply all I would do is I would take it off like that. That's logical, yeah? But I'm going to try and use magic. Look, if I just take the ribbon and touch the middle of the ribbon to the coin melts right there onto the ribbon. Isn't that crazy? Now, if I want to take it off, I can do the same thing. Give it a pull. It's really on there, right? Really is on there. Now, watch carefully. Don't blink. All I have to do is pull, and it comes off. So that's where we're at. Those are the first two phases. Now, when you're at the end of those two phases, you're going to be in this situation. The ends are going to be aligned. If they're not, make sure they are aligned. You're going to have that in finger palm threaded onto the ribbon, and you're going to have this here. Now, you can show this. You can put it down on the table. You can keep it in your hand if you're doing walk around. It's absolutely fine. But what you're going to do is, if you're holding onto it, you're going to use your forefinger and middle finger. If you put it down, you're just going to use your forefinger and thumb. Either way is fine, but you're going to pull down on the ribbon, and look at what's happening from this side. You're pulling down on both strands of the ribbon, so the coin is being fed further onto the ribbon. The coin is still threaded on there right there. So now it's basically a repeat of the first phase. So all I'm going to do is hold this shell here, put my thumb on the coin and the ribbon like this, and they see this little bite of ribbon here. I come over and I'm just going to knock that down, and as I knock that down with my thumb, I'm just going to grip here and then just pull, and it looks like it goes back on again. And that ends in finger palm, okay? So that's the third phase. Now you're going to apparently take the coin off the ribbon. And in reality, what you're going to do is a Greg Wilson move that he used in his trick Ringleader. He didn't use a coin, he used a ring, but it's the same concept. So what's going to happen here is you're showing the coin is now on the ribbon. Again, you're in this position. You can have the spectator pull if you want them to. And now you're going to take that coin off the ribbon. What you're going to do is hold it in the left hand. Remember, this is still in finger palm. You're going to hold it in the left hand and you're going to grip the coin like this. So it's between the edge of the forefinger and the middle finger like that. And what you're going to do with this in finger palm, you're going to come over and you're going to scissor that ribbon. You're going to put your forefinger and your middle finger on either side of that ribbon, keeping that in finger palm. And all you're going to do is it's apparently going to look like you pull that coin off the ribbon. Now, as your fingers cover, can you see this, Michael, if you come over? All you're going to do is as you come over like this, that drops into finger palm, and I put my thumb here, and it looks like I just slide the coin off the ribbon. From this angle, they see the coin, and it looks like I just take it off, okay? So now I have two people hold on to it. I'm holding this. I say, can you hold on to that end of the ribbon? Can you hold on to that end of the ribbon? And both of you pull it taut. And all I'm going to do, this is very similar to the sort of type of move that you would have seen Di Vernon do with a ring on one type of routine. I'm just going to take this coin, and there's a couple of different options here. The first option is you can pretend to put it into your hand, but in reality, I'm just keeping it in finger palm. So they don't realize that there's a coin here. They're holding on to this. So I just show this coin come in, and all I'm doing, if you look, is you don't want them to clink together. So I'm holding this here. I'm just apparently putting this into this hand, but I'm just coming away in finger palm. Now, the other way that you can do it, if you want to, is if you're holding this tightly, you can put this into thumb palm and actually put it into your hand and then come away, and this is stolen in thumb palm. Or you can show it and you can apparently put it here and just come away in finger palm, whichever you feel most comfortable with. But what's really cool is you do this and they're holding onto the ribbon and it looks like it just melts on. Now, the cool thing here is everybody at this point is watching here. Nobody is looking at this hand. And this hand just dumps this shell. I get rid of it. It's gone. Normally into my left hand back pocket, but that shell is gone. So now I can come over and I can take the ribbon and I can show the coin, and I'm going to do the same Jay Sankey move, but this time I'm not going to have it switched for the shell because I've got rid of the shell, but I'm going to get into the same position. So I'll put my finger in there so it drapes over the forefinger. I'm going to put my thumb in, apparently grip it into my hand, but in reality it's behind my fist, so I can steal it as I do this, and I'm going to hand them the ends. So that looks like this. So you say, hey, I'm going to, Jack, I'm going to show you the big finish. Would you like to see the big finish?
Yep.
I knew that you would. Can you hold on to the ends? So now they're holding on to everything, and this is in finger palm. This gets ditched into my back pocket as well. Normally my back right pocket, but this is gone. Everyone's attention's here. I'm putting all attention here. Nobody sees me ditching that. If you want to hold it out, you can, but it's easier to just ditch it. I focus here and I say, let's see if we can do this one more time with you holding on to the ends. I do this. And because they've seen it just come off the ribbon like 5 times, they think it's come off the ribbon again. And you go, actually, the whole thing was an illusion. The whole thing was in your mind. You see, there was no coin on the ribbon. There was no coin. We never took it out of the purse, the change purse. And now you show your hands empty. You pick up the quiver and you just open it up and you say, here, I'll cup your hands together. The coin is back inside there. And you show that the coin's back inside there. To reset, all you got to do is get them to drop the coin back in there. You dump the ribbon back in there, which resets that side of the purse. And now all you're going to do is you're just going to, as you walk away and you go to your next group, you're just going to reach into your pocket, grab the shell and the coin, put the shell back on the coin, put it into the other side of the quiver, and you're reset, ready to go again. Jack, thank you for helping me out. So there you go, guys. That is the Boxing Day lecture right here on Magic TV. Look, I want you to do me do me a favour and let me know in the comments what you thought of yesterday and today's lecture. And thank you so much for being a part of Magic TV. Thank you so much. If you've only ever watched one video on this channel in your entire life, I thank you for watching that one video. I really, really appreciate it. Now, don't forget, we've got a ton more content over Christmas. Tomorrow, what we got going on tomorrow, mate?
The review show with Ryland.
Oh, the Christmas review show special. Then the next day, we've got Ryland's full show live from Penguin.
Yeah.
And then the next day, my live show, live from Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff coming up over Christmas. So thank you very much for joining us. And if you've got some spare cash lying around after Christmas and you want to see more of the type of magic that I do, if you like the last 2 days, maybe consider giving the NETRIX a go. www.thenetrix.com. I've got over 500 routines on there. And it continues to grow every couple of weeks. We're adding more content. And in fact, tomorrow, it's the 27th, we're uploading another 5 routines, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, so tomorrow there's another 5 routines being loaded onto the NETRIX. So now is a good time to try it out. You can try it for a month and see what you think, although most people keep it around because it's awesome. But either way, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the magic. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll see you again on another video. My name's Craig, and you've been watching Magic TV.